When you've been around a long time and you've been through so many storms and so many trials and so many tribulations, when you find opportunity to give God praise, you got to stop and give it to him. Because you realize that it was just for the grace of God. It was only by God's grace that we are where we are. And I thank God for Jesus on tonight. And I believe that God is doing great things. I feel like Obama to a certain degree. I believe it's time for change. I don't mean I think we've been walking around talking the same talk, doing the same thing, running the same protocol. It's about time for change. And if we're going to get anywhere in life, we got to be willing and ready to change. We can't become comfortable where we are. But we got to be willing to move in a vein that God wants us to move in. God has a way of preparing us. I hear him saying, I haven't even got to my message. He said he prepareth a table before you in the presence of your enemies. Well, let me tell you something. There's some things that God is doing in the presence of your enemies. In the presence of those that are speaking doom and damnation. He's speaking some things in your life. And whether you know it or not, God is just getting you ready to move in him to show forth his glory. To show that God is shown of God. See, I don't believe that nothing happens to me in life that God ain't trying to prove something. I was sitting at the house the other day and I think it was my wife or somebody, I said, it's just God who made the way. It's just God that prepareth the table. It's God that makes your enemies be at peace with it. It's God that causes you to ride upon the high mountain. Well, you know, you can be in the valley so long that when you get out of the valley, you forget that you were in the valley. But, you know, every now and then, I lived in the ghetto. I was raised in the slums. I was raised in the hood. And every now and then, I take my vehicle and I drive to the hood that I was raised up in. And I park my car on the street and I go to reminiscing how I got over. I don't mean to harm, but it's amazing how God gets you over. I tell people, just because you were raised in the hood don't mean you have to be the hood. There ought to be something in you that says, I'm going to excel above what I came out of. I'm going to move higher than where I was. You know, I told somebody the other day, I said, I always told somebody that I was going to be rich. I ain't got there yet. But I'm still telling them I'm going to be rich. When I was a little boy, I saw myself riding in a limousine. When I was a little boy, I saw myself riding in a Cadillac. When I was a little boy, I saw myself living in a big house. So what are you saying? I'm saying you'll never get where you're going until you start seeing yourself in the future. See, we're so busy looking at where we are and becoming comfortable where we are that we're no longer looking ahead and saying, look here, I see myself doing better than what I'm doing right now. Well, let me tell you something. God got something good in store for us. But there's something about us conditioning our minds. There's something about us getting our mind right and in tune with God so God can speak to us and tell us which way to go and how to do it. See, if God doesn't speak to us, then we ain't going nowhere. Well, let me lay it a little lower to you. He's speaking, but if we don't hear him, we still ain't going nowhere. See, we got to get to the point where we allow ourselves to become so sharp in the word that we can hear the Lord speaking to us saying, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to take care of itself. See, God has a way of doing something. That's why I have no qualms about doing anything for my brother or with my brother. Because I understand God's going to make a way somehow. God's going to make a way out of no way. And when things look like they're not going to come to pass, God said, don't worry, don't fret yourself over. Just trust in me with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways go to acknowledging that I'm God. See, I believe there come a time that we as men and women that call ourselves believers got to start acknowledging that God is showing up God. Baby, you've been in the struggle too long. You've been in the struggle too long. Somebody told you that you're going to come out, but you told yourself that ain't no way in the world I can get out of this mess. But the Lord told me that he will make a way of escape